Hey everybody, long time no see. Welcome back to the Brotherhood of Gaming podcast. Yeah!
We're back.
We're back indeed. Hey, you stole that. I'm supposed to say that. That's from our...
I'm surprised you didn't open up with that, man. You're slacking. You're losing your touch.
You're
getting too old for this YouTube shit.
Well, you see my hair? It's all silver and gray.
Yeah, it's all gray. Do you remember when we were young?
Yeah, I actually was having conversations with Nate about that earlier because apparently he went to a birthday party for one of his nieces, and he was managing the bouncy house.
Yeah.
And by managing, he means he got inside and had some fun, and it's just like his knees went out on him, and he said that his knees were actually hurting after the event, and I'm just like, dude, as much fun as that is, you got to remember, like, our 90s bodies are gone. We don't.
We're not in our. We're not in our 90s or even early 2000s bodies. Shit, man.
Those are gone. We got to be more careful. Like, we can't.
Watching our older videos, man. I remember you were had less facial hair, and I was about 20 pounds thinner.
And you had more hair.
And I had more hair. Yeah.
Times have changed. Anyway, how are you guys doing out there? Are you doing well? You're not doing drugs, are you? Because winners don't do that.
Oh no. We learned that in the arcades back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, they beat it into our head. So anyway, a lot has happened over the course of...
So much that I figure that, hey, now's a good time to kind of bring back the podcast and talk about some subjects. And...
How dare you cut me off? No, I'm kidding. All right.
Hey, man, that's what we do. We cut each other off. That's what makes it fun.
Shut up! All right, so, yeah, a little over a year ago, Season 1 of the Castlevania Netflix came out. It was a 4-episode thing, and it took off. It was really good. I mean, there were some minor complaints, like the lack of Grant being showcased in the first 4 episodes, because he's technically, if you want to go by chronological order, in Castlevania 3, the video game, Grant is the first character that Trevor has the option of running into. But for storytelling and the animation, they decided to have Sypha be the character he runs into first, followed by Alucard. And people were speculating that when Season 2 dropped, Grant would be a major character, a recruit. So Season 2 came out, and it was twice the episodes of the original, so we had 8 altogether. Now, honestly, I did like it. I liked more than I didn't, but I'd be lying if I said I walked out of it loving it. Because there were a lot of eyebrow raises, there were a lot of aftermath thoughts, things that should have happened that didn't happen, things that were contradicting the storyline of Castlevania altogether, and we'll go into all that. So, but first of all, what did you think?
We watched that a few weeks ago, and I've kind of let it settle with me.
Mm-hmm.
The more I think about it, the less I liked it.
Regale me.
I'm not saying that I hated it, but there were things I liked, and there was other things that just annoyed me. And when we talk about the production of this Season 2 and the guy who wrote this, I think there's a reason why. But we'll go more into it as we go through the episodes.
All right. So first of all,
there are things I liked and there are a lot of things I didn't.
Yeah, that'd probably be the quickest thing to go into. First of all, for those of you who don't know, Gene and I here at the Brotherhood of Gaming, we are die-hard Castlevania fans. We own every single game in the series.
Oh, no, you don't say. Just look at our catalog.
Pretty much, but for newcomers, who knows? But yeah, we are die-hard Castlevania fans.
Our next review is a Castlevania game. So.
Totally.
If actually it's the Castlevania game that this show was based on, so go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So we're not what you would call diehard fanboy rage guys, where God forbid they change anything for the sake of storytelling, that we're going to drop the hat and be just straight up offended and everything. No,
never been to Reddit, so no.
No, so understandably, because these video games have very, very small sets of storytelling, like you have gameplay taking up 90% of the title, with the story being kind of just something that you experience as you go through it.
Liberties are
exactly
expected.
Liberties for the sake of storytelling and narrative have to be taken. So that's not the problem. My problem is when the narrative or story that they're telling is complete contradictory to the lore at hand. Now, when the first season came out, It was advertised as to be a completely faithful adaptation made by fans for the fans. They even, for the Netflix thumbnail of the show, were straight up using 8-bit images from Castlevania 3 the game as to say that this was the most faithful adaptation, which, to be honest, was the only adaptation, because up until now, Castlevania has never had any animated or spin-off or cartoon movie, nothing. Castlevania has literally surprising, I know. It seems like it'd be so easy to do. I mean, you got Van Helsing movies that do this. But yeah, Castlevania up until now has had no adaptation. So why not be faithful? Right. Why not be 100% faithful? Why go off the bridge and tell your own story when you don't really have to? You've got already a complete narrative here as it is. Why not tell it? So here's where things got a little weird. I didn't mind that Grant didn't show up in the first season. I didn't mind that he wasn't the first character that they ran into. But what I did mind was that he wasn't in it at all. Now, some might argue and say that, well, he doesn't really contribute much to the overall narrative.
I disagree. Thinking about that first season, would have been nice to have him introduced with Trevor. Like, you don't have to have an origin story for Grant, but you can just establish, okay, these two guys are friends. They, Trevor saved him a while ago, and now they're kind of together, and they're, on trying to kill Dracula or whatnot. But it kind of have him be like, Grant always comes off to me as kind of like a sidekick to me, or or the closest thing Trevor has to a friend, which I think is actually something would have benefited the series to have someone
maybe because Grant does have a story that goes with him. Like he was part of the Walekian group that was trying to. You don't have to
show that in the series. You can have him just start with that and just kind of allude to it, later on.
Yeah, but just dismissing him altogether.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Introducing Hector, the dark.
That was cool.
That was really cool.
At first, I'm a big fan of Curse of Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
To have Hector and Isaac show up, I was like, yes, he did his homework.
You've got some people that are pro Isaac and anti Isaac.
I didn't mind. Isaac is very different in this version.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it because okay, you want to add a little bit of diversity. You want to have his little change up his origin. Okay, I was okay with that.
Yeah, I didn't think it mattered much.
Yeah.
But you also have Isaac's sister, which I guess was supposed to be a thing in the game, but they didn't. They retconned that out.
No. Actually, she doesn't come until Curse of Darkness because
I know, but the fact that she
witch,
exists,
yeah, but
she doesn't exist in the show.
Oh, good point. Never mind. Continue.
Oh, so yeah. Now, probably one of the biggest problems was Dracula himself. Now, I understand the kind of story they're telling with the character of Dracula and how psychologically it's very accurate to how you would be. And in some ways...
by the way, spoilers at the yin yang, but you should know that for you.
You should have known that. It's been out long enough. Yeah. Now, the problem with that is, understandably, yes, by narrative standpoint, it's a very well done. However... this is still Dracula we're talking about here, the Lord of Darkness, the step, just one step below Satan.
Yeah.
Why is he all depressed and brooding? And
he's basically on a suicide mission.
Pretty much.
He wants to destroy the humans, but he also wants to destroy himself. And it seems like all vampire kind. He wants everything to end, which I understand. His wife was burned at the stake, but.
Which isn't the first time.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's one of those liberties they took. I understand, but I just don't... I don't agree with it. I don't think that was the right...
Well, no, because they wrote him into a corner.
That's it, yes.
Because how does he come back from this with new motivation to want to kill everybody again when you're pretty much...
Damn it, I'm alive again. They're going to have to kill me again. Let's go.
Pretty much, yeah, you wrote him into a corner, guys. Now, he can't really come back from this. I don't know how they're going to do it without him just pretending that it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Alucard not being there will help it. Let's see. I loved all the Easter eggs.
Yeah, I know the Leon Belmont references were really cool. And they were there were a lot of when they stuck to the game and they brought the stuff that we are familiar with. It was awesome. The Leon Bell, the Belmont thing, the Morning Star,
Mm-hmm.
you know, all that was great. It's when they took liberties that I had a problem with. And now, okay, I'll just jump into it. You've told me that you've heard that the guy who wrote this.
Yeah, now, guys, don't take this as gospel. I'm not saying that this is what it is. This is only what I've heard. And
Okay.
if it is...
It kind of makes sense.
It makes sense. And I'm more fearful. Like, the Castlevania Netflix show is very anti-religion. When you boil it down, like
Right.
because Sypha, she's part of the Seekers, and she openly admits that her Seekers and herself are enemies of God, and they make a joke out of it by immediately like having like an earthquake spawn. She's like, "See, God hates me," and then Trevor like was like what do you call like dismissed from the church altogether. Like I forget what the technical term is, and he's not really working with the religious stuff, and of course Icard is Icard, and that's a problem because even if I don't care if you're anti-religious yourself or an atheist, let's just go by storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
By the story, I mean, if you want to believe that the Bible is just a book and a fairy tale, all that stuff, that's fine. That's not the point. The point is this is a story, and in the story, the characters are very pro-religious, where the religion stuff is very magical and does have holy powers.
Well, the Belmonts have always been religious.
Exactly.
When you play Castlevania 3, what's the first image that you see?
You see Trevor kneeling in front of the giant cross, accepting God's gift and power.
What of his weapons? Holy water.
Yeah, holy water, the holy cross.
The boomerang really is the holy cross.
Yep.
You know?
And in later Castlevania games, you got Richter Belmont, who's throwing around the Bible, and all of its pages are attacks.
I'm not against like certain people in the church in the Castlevania world being the villains.
Yeah.
'Cause there could be people that take it, and kind of use it for their own means. And
Oh yeah,
fine.
I was totally down with the corruption of the church and stuff, but
Yeah.
to completely use that and dismiss God altogether as if all church period is just this terrible thing.
That never set well for me with Sypha, because Sypha was, at least in the games, I believe, employed by the church or sent by the church.
Yeah,
because she had these powers.
yeah.
Well,
the thing is, like, she tried to be like a bigger person in the church, but her for some reason she just couldn't stand up. But she still was loyal to God.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just the character.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the show they do not that. They
they really go the other direction.
Now,
it bothered me.
Now, at first glance, you might think, well, it's just a different direction. But then what I heard was that the person who was like primarily writing the show is an atheist, and they were pushing their views on religion into the show and the source material. That's where I have a problem. You don't do that. You don't push your own agenda.
Unfortunately, that's just something that happens all the time nowadays, and it really bothers me. Why can't you just tell the story? Why do you have all these people that feel that they have to take these old stories and completely rewrite them and add their own agenda or add their own politics or
Give their own vision.
Yeah, my vision. No one cares about your vision.
No.
Tell the story. Now look, there's going to be liberties made, okay?
Granted.
The Trevor Belmont, the way he acts in this show is not the way I see Trevor Belmont. That Trevor in this is very different from the Trevor you see in Curse of Darkness.
Oh yeah,
He is awesome in Curse of Darkness.
Are you the Devil's Forge Master? This is the hour of your death.
Yeah. I guess, I know you want to try to add more character, but you know what? You could take it in a different direction. That's fine. But when you start reinventing the wheel and it becomes something completely different, because it seems like at first they were saying, "Oh, this is an adaptation of the classic Castlevania," and like halfway through, it was like, well, actually, it's our own.
Yeah, they're saying that now.
Yeah.
Now after
you can't pick or choose. It's got to be one or the other.
Yeah, it's like after season 1 was so successful, and everybody was on board with it. Now all of a sudden they felt like they could do whatever they wanted, and then they started changing up their wording. So now it's no longer a faithful adaptation. Now it's no longer made by the fans for the fans. Now they went all Hollywood on us and are trying to incorporate their vision into a reimagining or a retelling of the Castlevania lore. And it's like, great.
Hector was transformed to a real bitch at the end. That really bothered me. Like, he does betray. I don't see that guy becoming a hero later on, because that's the thing. He's a side character during Curse of Darkness, but he becomes the main hero in Curse of Darkness.
Yeah.
He does betray Dracula because he disagreed with him slaughtering the humans. That was alluded to here. But in here, he really is just manipulated by Carmela to become her personal whipping boy.
Mm-hmm.
I like Carmela in the show. I did think she was great. I liked how wicked and evil she was.
Manipulative.
Yeah, she was more evil than Dracula, ironically.
I sort of liked Godbrand because I can understand that there were vampires that were just so into themselves like that.
Oh yeah.
Even if he was completely made up.
Another thing that bothered me is I think in the middle it kind of dragged, because I think that like the focus was really more on Dracula and the villains, while the heroes really became the side characters.
Yeah, it's like the heroes spent 3 episodes in that damn library.
Right.
Like, come on, can you guys do something? I mean, Alucard and Sci-Fi are trying to figure out passwords and something to get the castle to stop moving. Trevor's sitting there with his thumb up his ass, holding the Morning Star in his hand, cannot wait to use it.
It would have been a lot more fun if their section was more like a buddy road trip, where you had these 4 misfits. If now this is just me spitballing. If Grant, I would have had Grant involved. But you've had these 4 misfits traveling together, and like they can't stand each other. They get on each other's nerves, but as they all have the same goal. As time goes on, they become friends. They become companions.
Yeah, it's been done, but I'd like to see it.
Yeah, exactly. For this, I would definitely would have loved to see it.
Yeah, it's not original, but it doesn't have to be.
Right.
It's as long as it's a fun ride.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
The ending, though, now, there was one great moment. That's when I think it was Bloody Tears played.
All right, so yeah, let's talk about some of the good stuff. We've gone ad nauseum so far about all the things we don't like.
I like the animation.
Yeah, the animation, it was good. It gets a little choppy here and there, especially during the action stuff. They get really choppy. I don't know why.
I thought the action was done well.
The action's done really well. I love that they finally put a track from the video games in it. And some people are saying that the only reason why they put it in is because so many people complained about, like, why this was like them saying, there, you happy? We put one in.
Yeah.
But, you know, I won't complain. It was really good.
I did like the relationship between Trevor and Sypha. I thought that was done well. I thought because eventually they do fall in love and become husband and wife. I thought that was done well.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think Alucard stole a little bit too much of the spotlight.
I was about to get into that. The final battle is all 3 fight Dracula. It's good at first, but then it becomes the Alucard show. And I knew they were going to do that. It becomes Alucard versus Dracula with Trevor and Sypha catching up. And I just thought the way it ended, like, I understand the ending, but I just thought it was lame. Where they kind of end up in Alucard's bedroom when he was a baby, and Dracula has like an emotional breakdown.
Dracula gives up.
He gives up, and then Trevor comes from behind like, ha ha!
Oh, I had to get some experience points out of that.
And then later on, Trevor's at a convention, and that's how I destroyed Dracula once and for all.
That's bullshit! Like, I hated that final. It started off really good, but even as it started off, I was like, wow, this is kind of an awkward like moment. Like, I was expecting like Trevor, Sypha, and Alucard to like go up the long stairs up into the tower.
I was hoping, okay, maybe Dracula defeats Alucard, Dracula about to kill him, then Trevor shows up. He pushes Dracula out the window, and then Trevor and Dracula have the final battle, and then Trevor kills him. But
oh yeah, because like Trevor gets one good hit on Dracula.
But God forbid they make us Trevor Belmont fans happy.
But yeah, it started off good. Trevor gets one good hit with the Morning Star, hits Dracula and like knocks the wind out of him.
Right.
But beyond that, it immediately escalates, and now it's Man of Steel.
Yeah. It's Man of Steel here, Dracula versus Alucard, which was a cool fight, but I just wish that they didn't end it like that. I like the fighting itself, but I just didn't like the ending of it.
What was actually funny is like during the Man of Steel fight that they have, there's a quick moment like where they're like punching each other like into different rooms.
Yeah.
And if you one real quick moment, there was they punched each other into the dining room. If you look off to the side, it's faded, but you can see some chicken in the wall. like I'm like, oh, there it is. You gotta look for it, but it's there. But yeah, I was really disappointed that seeing Alucard and Dracula like fight up in the air, punching each other through walls, and then it goes to Trevor and Sypha like, I think they're this way, and they're running upstairs, and it's like, oh my god, this sucks. Yeah. This is not the final battle I wanted to see. I wanted them to walk up the long stairs up into the tower, and Dracula to be there waiting for them. Like how it is in every castle. How did you get? And no, they just like, oh, here's a study. Oh, hey, like let's fight.
Yeah. You know, it's fine for what it is. It's okay, but it's not something that I'm like, whoa, why, man? I can't wait to get this on DVD, or I can't wait to watch it again. You know?
Yeah, it's weird how after season 1 we were that. Although it's like, oh my god, this is so good. I can't wait to see season 2. Now that it's here, it's.
It left me wanting. But hey, that's just me being an old curmudgeon Castlevania fan. Maybe other people liked it, but you know, that's just my
Hey, look, I liked it. I mean, there were a lot of things
yeah,
to
you
like.
did like it more than I did.
There were a lot of things to like. I mean, the action stuff was good. I love the Bloody Tears track. You know what? Universally, that's the one thing that even people that don't like it universally agree on.
Oh, yeah.
That battle scene with Bloody Tears was amazingly good. If not just for the music. Because like we were waiting for that for God knows how many. Earlier on in like episode 2 or 3 when Alucard, Trevor, and Sypha were traveling and then they get ambushed by like some roaming monsters, what a lot of people don't immediately come out and say is like we did get to see some of the classic Castlevania monsters in that fight. We got to see Slagra and the other flying demon,
right.
The Slagra. He's the one with the spear. He's the one that's really cheap in Castlevania 4. That
I think it is Slagra.
Yeah, it is Slagra. And then in Symphony of the Night, the Bat one can pick him up. Yeah. And they did that here. So I'm just like, oh, it's them. Nice. So yeah, we did get to see some, but yeah, we didn't get to see the Frankenstein monster. We didn't get to see Medusa. We didn't get to see Death. There was one part that was a little weird. There's a part where Dracula brings up like these shards of mirrors, and I guess it's like an area where you can like teleport somewhere. And when he does that, he's looking at like a beautiful forest in the background, and he picks up like a black cloak and he throws it in there, and it just lands there on the forest floor, and we never go back to that.
Yeah. And
a lot of people have just been speculating, what was that? Was that Death's cloak? Like, and I'm just like, that's quite a speculation. Yeah, all right. I don't know. Is it?
Don't ask me. All right.
Hell if I know. But yeah, like with Leon Belmont, we know that Lament of Innocence is a story that happened. It only raises more questions because why isn't Dracula more aware of the Belmont clan than... I mean, they sort of clue it in that there sort of is, because Carmilla is the one that's just like, the Belmonts are the ones that have been hunting us for generations and shit. But Dracula really doesn't bat an eye at the Belmont name, when it's weird because, you know, once upon a time he was Matthias, who was married and really good friend with Leon Belmont, and then Matthias makes a deal with the...
Maybe they didn't include that here. Maybe they just kind of changed it up a bit. I don't know.
Yeah, so now I'm kind of interested. Okay, yeah, so what happened in the Leon? It seemed like
they just picked and choose the things they wanted to be faithful to and just completely rewrote other things. So
yeah, so I don't know. It's just there were things to like, but there were a lot of things I don't like. I'm still optimistic to see where they can go from here. Although I think they've even openly said that Dracula won't be part of the next season. So if it doesn't, and people are wondering, like, is it going to be a Curse of Darkness story? Is it going to be Curse of Darkness? Oh my god, it's Curse of Darkness! And there's just like, I don't know. I mean, can Hector carry it?
I'm definitely less excited for next Castlevania season 3 than I was for season 2. That's all. That's just me. So sorry.
Yeah. So I'm not really sure what to think of it throughout here. They disappointed me with their Hollywood crap, but who knows? We'll let you guys decide. So, that was Castlevania Netflix. Started strong. It's going on a little bit of a whimper now, but I guess we'll see where it goes from here in the future. Meanwhile,
here come the hate comments. Hate comments and dislikes. Let it rain.
actually, you know what? I don't think it's gonna happen because a lot of people seem to agree and have the same thoughts.
Yeah, I was just joking.
Yeah. All right.